all pain. My body is not betraying me in any way. My body only ever loves me and is trying to love me. And it's usually trying to send me a message, especially through pain. Pain means pay attention inward now.
Hey gut feelers, welcome back to Paradise, Panama Bokete. Today what we're going to do is so exciting. You are up for a treat. One of the people who at the moment inspire me the most, his name is Jerome Braggs, and I actually got him to do an interview for us to share his message with you guys, with the Gut Feeler family. Now, a little bit about his story, and then we're going to go into what's in it for you, what you're going to get out of this chat. Just give you a little overview. Jerome has been diagnosed twice with terminal illnesses. In the mix was HIV, acute kidney failure, pneumonia. Just having one of those basically kills you. And the first time the doctors in the hospital gave him a few days to live. He was in the hospital the second time. It was exactly the same hospital. It was exactly the same doctors. It was exactly the same room even. It was exactly 1 year later. They only gave him 48 hours to live. In this time he had a powerful experience, a powerful near-death experience, which completely changed how he would want to live the rest of his life. And that was over a decade ago. Now he refined his message so much that he actually helps other people to feel how loved they are from life, and helps them to understand and see how to transform any suffering, may it be mentally, may it be emotionally, may it be spiritually, physically, how they can transform it into bliss, into healing, into wellness and feeling well. If you don't know who Jerome Braggs is, I'm going to link you his YouTube channel down below. I'm going to link you one of my favorite videos down below so you have a starting point, and make sure you're going to subscribe to his channel. You won't regret it, guys. This guy is amazing. I feel so blessed to having this interview with him. What's in it for you, what we're going to talk about in this interview is, first of all, I put nicely some timestamps down below for you, so you can, if you don't have time right now to watch a full hour interview, I completely understand, you can jump through the sections and just watch a little piece and a little nugget for now. Some of the things we talk about is Jerome shares how you can actually overcome chronic pain. It's very, very personal, so we actually bring ourselves in. Jerome also shares about his digestive struggles. He had major colitis issues and how he overcame them. We share about what you can do if you can't heal. No matter what healthy diet you eat, no matter how many medications you take, no matter how many visits to the doctor you go, and no matter how much cleansing you do to the body, what to do if no matter what you do, you don't get well. And two other things we talk about is fear. The fear of I can't be myself and at the same time be loved and feel safe. We both agree that this is a subject that is like inherent in all of us. And the last but not least, and we do a beautiful meditation in the beginning. If you're into meditating and bringing your energy back into your body, really feeling your body fueled with energy is very, very beautiful. And we talk about change, that change is not easy and that it actually has a price. Okay guys, now let's get started, and let me know how you like this message. Do you want me to do more interviews like that? Is this something you enjoy? Let me know in the comments below. I'm super curious. Hi Jerome.
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me well?
I can hear you very well.
Awesome. I can hear you too. I can't express how happy I am to finally meet you.
You froze for a minute there.
Oh, I froze?
You froze, so all I heard was finally meet you.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I froze. I didn't see.
I can hear you now, though.
Freezing? Okay, good. Let me know if I freeze again.
Okay.
Okay, great. I have a good internet connection. I'm in Panama, so I hope it's going to be fine.
Oh, good. Are you from Panama?
What do you say?
Are you from Panama?
No. I'm born in Germany, and I'm a world citizen. So I lived in different places. But I feel like the tropical climate is really, this is like me, look out there, it's my home. Yeah. So I've already took a few moments and introduced you to the Gut Feeler community.
Okay.
And yeah, so again, Jerome, I'm so happy that you're here, and I don't even have words for how much connection I feel with you. And this is really one of the interviews I do.
You froze again.
I froze again.
Yes. So I heard I don't have words for how, and that's all I heard.
Okay. Yeah, we have like 4 different routers in the house. It's like insane. So, and I was on the upstairs router. So it's like an entrepreneur house, like an entrepreneur community.
Oh, okay.
And this is like the perfect internet. So I hope I'm not going to freeze again. So again, funny to say that again. I feel like so much connection when I saw your first YouTube video. I was like, oh my God, this guy is cool. And then I looked at the other videos from way back. So yeah, you are already a long time on YouTube. And I saw like such a growth, like in such a short time, like just the energy, like I feel like you've been sinking so much more into your heart and into like kindness, and like your field got so much bigger, and I was like, wow, this dude is cool. And I actually heard about you from Cherise, a friend of mine, Cherise Satz. I think I told you. And then another client said that, and I was like, okay, well, let's see if I can get that guy on an interview. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so great to have you. Where are you right now?
I am in Oklahoma in the United States. So that's pretty much the central part of the United States. We're kind of right in the center.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So what I thought we could do, like I have like tons of questions. I think I've talked to you like for 10 hours, but I know I want to honor your time. We have like an hour. So one of the things that I love to do, I actually, just a background why I suggest that, is I lived in a community, in an intentional community in the north of Scotland for 3 years. And one of the amazing things that we were doing before we had a meeting was to tune into each other, but also tune into, I wrote that in the email, to tune into like the higher, like whatever you want to call it, source or the universe or whatever wants to like land in this meeting, while we're tuning into the gut feeler family and being of service, but also like enjoying ourselves, of course. I think
yes, indeed.
So I was thinking, like, maybe if you like, we could have like a, if something comes to your mind, like just like 5 minutes or so, like a meditation. I know this one, I love really this one with the star and the connection to the earth, but maybe something else comes up, or you just want to improvise, that would be amazing. And like, the serving aspect, but also like in us just connecting.
Okay. So, if everyone would just, close their eyes and kind of get comfortable in your body wherever you are, just as comfortable as you can, whether you have your feet on the floor or whether you're sitting somewhere where your legs are crossed. Just what's most important is to be comfortable. And what we're going to do is just take a few deep breaths in at your own pace. Just breathing in through the nose and out through your mouth. And as you're breathing, just imagine there's an anchor at the base of your spine, and it's just slowly dropping down into the earth, just grounding you very lovingly, very calmly, very safely into the energy and the love and the nourishment of this earth. And just imagine it kind of going all the way down to the center of the core of the earth and just resting there. And feel the solidness of that in your body. Feel the support of that in your body. And almost as you're feeling that, imagine that your feet are literally growing roots into the planet, into the earth, into the soil. Again, very lovingly, very comfortably, reaching down. And as they are rooting into the ground, imagine the earth sending you nourishment through those roots. sending you love energy through those roots, sending you healing and well-being through those roots. With every breath in, you are drawing in this nourishment. And every breath out, you are letting go and sinking deeper into the safety and the trust. And as you do that and continue to breathe, as you're rooted and anchored into the earth, imagine a bright white light right above your head, almost like a little sun up there. It's not hot, it's just warm and bright. And imagine that light beginning to come through from the top of your head, going all the way through your body, almost like warm honey flowing from the top of your being down to the very tips of your toes, just flowing. With every breath, it flows deeper in. It warms you and it expands you. As it flows over your shoulders and your chest area, you can feel your whole energy just expanding with every breath. Knowing that this very light is source. It is universal energy. It is love energy. It is the energy of your higher self, of who you really are. And with each breath that you take, as you're anchored in, you're pulling nourishment in from the earth, and you're receiving this nourishing, expanding light of your higher self. See it flowing into any area of your body that you need. If any of your body needs to be experience more wellness or healing, see that light and that nourishment from the earth flowing into that area as well. And your whole being just relaxing. And as we fill ourselves with this light and we fill ourselves with the nourishment from the earth, we open ourselves to whatever wisdom wants to be given to us, whatever wisdom wants to come through us, whatever guidance we need for our lives, for our healing, for our well-being, whatever message wants to come through us, for us, and for all of those who listen to us. Just breathing, relaxing, and receiving. And just take a few more breaths in, breathing in this light and this nourishment, opening yourself to whatever wisdom wants to be given, whatever you need to receive. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. One last breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Now see your entire being filled with this light. Feel how your energy field has literally expanded to fill the entire room that you're in. Feel the peace and relaxation of your body, the support you have from the earth, the nourishment and the well-being that you're receiving. And just give thanks to the earth for its support, knowing that whether you consciously can see the anchor or not, whether you can consciously feel your roots or not, you're being supported and nourished. And give thanks for this light, knowing that it is always flowing, and that you can do this exercise at any time to open and receive even more. And breathe in, bringing yourself back into your body and back into this space. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Oh my God, that was nice. I feel like, oof, you know, like everything is tingling and yeah,
Good.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. That's bringing your energy in at any time. That your energy, that's how you bring more of your being in and more of the energy of the earth in, and you get your nourishment.
Yes, soul nourishment. Amazing. So, what I would love, like for the people watching, for you gut feeders, guys, if there's anything you experienced during the meditation and you would like to share with us, please use the comment box down below. It would be awesome. Maybe if it's just a word or it's a sentence, something that you've received or you would like to share with us. Please feel free to engage. This is what the community is for. And for me, like what I felt like was coming, I was seeing this post-it note. This is an inspiration from you, by the way. On my bathroom mirror, it's like, I'm enough, you know, like it's so good. So look into my eyes in the mirror, and like 3 times whenever I pass, I say, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. And sometimes I even use my name, which makes it even more powerful. So that's something that came up for me. Also, this feeling where I connect the most with you, or where I feel like a very strong connection, is like this authenticity. And I feel like you have a lot of purity, like that you achieved in your life, like very lot of clarity, and that you really want to, or that it looks like me, like bringing out whatever there is. You know, I also saw your shame series, and I feel like this is so much my core as well. Like what interests me the most in people when I see them is when they're just like as goofy as they are, or as serious, or as hurt, or whatever, whoever they are, like just them, you know, I can meet them. Then I'm fine, you know. This is like, so this is also the style of interview I'd love to have with you, just because I think it's possible. It's not possible with everybody, but I think with you would be. So to just be us, you know. So also like me being personal and vulnerable and bringing in some of my stuff maybe when it comes up, when I feel like it's serving.
Absolutely. I'm open for that. Authenticity and vulnerability are 2 of my favorite topics. So, and 2 of my favorite practices. So I'm open for that completely.
Yes. Amazing. Great. Is there something that came up for you in the meditation, apart from that you were holding it?
Just how, and this is something I learned in my own healing journey, is just, and I'm still learning in deeper levels, just how loved I am by the universe, by life itself. And that I don't have to make that love happen. I have to just let it happen. And how simple it can be at times to let it happen. Not always easy, but simple. Something as simple as breathing and remembering and imagining my connection to the earth and receiving, right? That one of the messages I got during my near-death experience was, aside from the fact that loving ourselves is the key and the path to all well-being and healing, the second message I got was that life wants to be really, really good to us, and we don't have to make it. It already wants to do that, but we have to allow it. We have to be in a space, in the energetic space of receiving. And it's times like in those meditations that I remember that life wants to give to me, and that my big work here on this planet is to be as open as I can to receiving, and to be as diligent as I can to removing and releasing all the things that are in the way of me receiving, in my consciousness and in my behavior patterns, all of that, whatever's in the way of receiving, to do that. And that's kind of what came up for me in just the beauty of receiving, and a remembrance of how most of my life I didn't know anything about how to do that. Yeah.
Yes. Oh God, I so relate to that. Like I make things happen person, you know. I was that so much, and like, you know, I heard you talking in one of the YouTube videos about also, like, don't try to make things happen. Act as if, So I have a question there because that reminded me so much of Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you know them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that. It's like a group consciousness and speaks through Esther Hicks. And so that was something that reminded me.
Yeah, it's again, I don't want to make it seem like, I got the message and then I mastered it right away, because I did not. And I got that message during my near-death experience because I needed that message, because I was the person that was always pushing and forcing and trying to make life be good to me, and not really understanding at a very core cellular level that what I am is a soul, meaning that, and what that means is that life always wants to be good to me because I'm a part of it. I'm it. I am it in this body. I am life experiencing itself as Jerome. I am universal energy experiencing itself as Jerome. And so I don't have to make good happen because I am the energy of good. I have to let myself be loved. Really, that's really what it is. The receiving is literally letting myself be loved. And I didn't know how to do that. I didn't grow up knowing how to let myself be loved, because I grew up with messages that said that parts of me were unlovable and that I wasn't enough as I am. And so I need to prove, or I need to dance, or I need to perform in some way in order to receive love, or to make, shower to me. So what I learned in my healing journey, really what I learned after my near-death experience, what I call my healing journey, is the years after I had my near-death experience, that I really was the real healing, was the real time of healing. The near-death experience was kind of the awakening and kind of the roadmap that said, here's the way to the outcome of well-being that you want, but it wasn't the thing that made the well-being happen for me. The journey of, I had to go through a journey of healing. So my healing journey was where I learned about not making things, like trusting and really believing, really connecting to the consciousness awareness that I'm enough. And that being enough means that I don't have to be something different or do something different to receive. I already deserve to receive. And not only deserve to receive, but the universe is already trying to give to me. But my consciousness or my energy is the thing that's keeping it from, is kind of putting a blockade up. So all I have to do is remove that blockade, and I receive in abundance. Whatever it is that I'm wanting to receive, I receive that in abundance, not because I did something to deserve it, but because I removed what told me I didn't deserve it already.
Totally. Yeah. I like this sentence. Life is always happening for me, not against me. It's like always. And the only it's only about, can I see that? Or if I can't see it, can I give a little bit of space and act as if it happened? And then later on, I always see, like, of course, this was amazing. But, the resistance, I want to move in this direction, like my head, and then life pushes in the other. I'm like, going in the other way. So, yeah. How do you, like, for me, I always, like, I remember, like, when I grew up, I was like the weirdo. I shared about that a lot on YouTube, on the videos, that I never fitted in. I didn't have any friends. I was always like, who's this? I couldn't deal with my colleagues and my people in school. They hated me. I wasn't relating to them. I was doing meditation. They were listening to techno, basically. And but one of the things that always was, like, clear for me, and that made this gap even bigger, was like that, first of all, life is a play. It's not, there's nothing to achieve. There's nothing to prove. And I had this big sentence on top of my, in my room, on top of the door, like, life is a play. And I remember my mother always said, like, you're not really, you don't really understand the serious, you're not going to get anywhere with that in life. And I know, like, sometimes that is difficult for me still to relate to people who are very, for me, my journey is like to come down. like with this becoming an entrepreneur, money, all of this stuff, health insurance and things like that, I'm coming down. So my energy comes from here down. But for other people, I experience like their energy, they're very rooted in life. They're relationship people, for them, it's about like opening up to that you are a soul. So I was wondering, like when we talk about that and somebody's maybe listening who comes from the other way, to make it really simple, how can they experience that they are a soul? How can they know that life is always good for them when you see so much pain and drama and like violence in the world and not being, people telling you you're not good enough?
Yeah. So the thing I learned, and again, I only share what I learned through my journey and that I have experienced in multiple experiences that have affirmed and supported that, what I'm teaching. So this isn't about something that I just read in the book. This isn't about something that someone else taught me. This is about something that I learned and was proven, repeatedly through life. So the biggest thing to understand around all of this is that this world that we see, the flesh, the material, physical world, is I almost like to really say it's not the real world. It is even though it feels real, and but it's not the true. Well, actually, I'll say it's a real world because you can feel it, but it's not the true world. And what I mean by that is the biggest thing that I learned, and that it was a key in my healing. This external world that you're experiencing is only ever a reflection of your internal state of being. And what I mean by internal state of being is your consciousness, which is the beliefs and chronic thoughts that you have, habitual thoughts that you have, particularly about yourself, and your emotional state, like how you feel, and again, habitually, how you habitually feel, again, particularly about yourself. And so when we have a lot of pain in our lives and conflicts, and we're experiencing life as that is against us, it is not really for us, and that we're not really loved by life, and that life is not, a happy-go-lucky place. The reason why we are experiencing that is because we have beliefs about that, and we have feelings about that. We have fear. We have a lot of fears. We may feel ashamed. And again, these feelings and beliefs, 99% of the time, are not your fault. They were something that was caused by something that happened to you in your childhood, whether there was some type of trauma that happened, or negative socialization that happened, or this was how your environment or your caregiving system that you were born in, this is how they believed, and this is how they moved through the world. But that you hold these beliefs, and you hold this feeling that I'm not safe in the world, especially usually not safe to be all of myself somehow, and that I'm not enough somehow. Like I'm not attractive enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not enough as I am to be wholly embraced by the world, to be wholly loved by the world, and to wholly receive what I desire. When we have those beliefs that I'm not enough, and this world is not a safe place to be, especially for me to be all of myself in, you have an internal state that says I'm not enough and I'm not safe. And so this outer reality, its main responsibility, the entire responsibility of the universe, is to give you a reality that reflects and affirms your internal state of being. So if you have an internal state that says I'm not safe and I'm not enough, then you will continue to manifest entire relationships, events, experiences that continue to affirm and support that. Because what the universe can't do, because the universe loves you, so the universe can't make you crazy. So you can't believe something and feel something and not have evidence to support that. You can't, because the universe loves you. So it says, if you believe this and you feel this, you have to have a reality that supports and affirms that, because we're not trying to make you crazy. So for me, I believed for many years that I wasn't enough. It's particularly what I mean by not enough, that I wasn't, for me, how it manifested was in my looks and in my sexuality. So my looks, I didn't feel attractive enough. I was teased a lot as a kid around the size of my body. I was a bigger kid. So I was called chubby and fat a lot. I also was a little more effeminate when I was younger. So I was teased a lot around that and made to feel like my expression and how my voice was very high when I was young. I was often mistaken for a girl. When you didn't see me and you just heard me, I was often mistaken for a girl. And so I was made to feel like my voice was wrong, my body was wrong, and that, you said earlier about the weirdo. I was often, the thing about it is it's not necessarily that the being a weirdo is the thing that makes the issue, it's the message we receive around it. So for most people, and like me, being the weirdo, the message that you got was that was the wrong thing. That was the wrong thing to be. That was the thing that was not acceptable. That was the thing that was not enough. That was the thing that didn't belong. And one of the biggest needs for us as human beings, like not even talking about this, getting into the soul, but just as human beings, your number one need, especially as children, is to have a sense of belonging and connection. And so when you are made to believe that there's something wrong with you, that threatens that sense of connection and belonging. It almost feels like, that thing is going to cause a death to you. Because to the baby mind, not belonging and not having a sense of connection to your environment, to your caregiving, literally leads to death, because you can't support yourself on your own. You can't feed yourself on your own. So in the mind of when the human mind of the baby, of our baby selves, if we don't belong and we don't connect, we're going to die. And so that's what kind of gets built in. So that belonging, that connection must be secured and it be safe at all costs. So if there's something wrong with me, if there's something perceived as wrong with me, and it will lead me to not belonging and not receiving connection and acceptance, then I will reject that. Right? I'll try to suppress it. I'll try to, in any way, I'll try to suppress it. I'll try to hide it. I'll try to do anything so that other people don't see it and they don't press it and they don't remove their belonging and their approval and acceptance of me, right? But the issue of that is, while that gives you safety as a child, when you hold those beliefs that there's something wrong with you, because you are a soul and this is how this universe works, your internal state manifests. If you continue to believe that there's something wrong with you and you're not safe, you're going to manifest things like relationships where it may go well in the beginning, but eventually they begin to touch on that wound of there not being enough. This is what the emotional wounds are. And so again, the universe continually manifests, not because it's punishing you, but this is the universe of reflection. So the internal world is the true world. So however you feel, and whatever you believe about yourself is your real world. And that's what's going to get manifested out here. And so if this out here doesn't look like it's serving you or it's for you, it's not to try and change this out here. This is what I call like rearranging the furniture in your house, thinking that you moved somewhere. Yeah. You just rearrange the furniture. So you don't try to fix this. You have to heal this. And what in healing this is, if you don't feel safe in the world, if you don't feel enough in the world, if you don't feel like you have enough, that's not the truth of your being. That was something that you were made to feel that really doesn't belong to you. And you have to come back to your truth, which is you are enough, you are safe in this world. Because this world is a world of reflection, it could be anything that you want it to be. If you change your beliefs and how you feel, if you start to believe that, that you're beautiful and that there's money everywhere for you and that you're safe in this world and this is a beautiful world experience to be, not just kind of, speak out affirmations here and there, but literally do the work of changing how you believe and perceive yourself in the world, your world will literally change. It will literally change and shift to begin to affirm and support that. It cannot make you crazy. The universe can't. So whatever it is that you believe and that you feel has to be supported and affirmed. You just have to really look at, what is it that I actually feel about myself? What is it I actually feel about the world around me? And what are the beliefs I have around certain topics that are the root cause of why these experiences in my life are showing up?
Yeah. Nice. Totally, totally agree. Like I could like, like every sentence I was just nodding. I have like with my clients, like one thing I really like you might have looked at the channel a little bit, gut feelings, maybe not. It's a lot about like doing this outer thing. So diet, 1, 2, 3 tips for healing gastritis and stuff. And it's great because that people somehow take care of themselves and they start healing. But also like sometimes I have clients who whatever they do, or gut feeders from the community, whatever they do, they eat the best food, they have the everything well, and they don't heal. So one of the practices that I love doing, because when I feel personally uncomfortable, so let's say right now I have a toothache, I actually do. Like teeth are my big thing somehow. So I have like this root canal thing here, and it's still like it comes up again and again, and like I'm terrified of dentists. And one of the things that I do with the clients and do myself is a thing that's called emotional release. You can give it whatever name, but it's basically, instead of running away from the pain, distracting myself, doing other stuff, I'm gonna sit down, and all I do is like I sit down, I close my eyes, and I feel into this area or whatever it is. It can also be an emotional pain. So one of my biggest traumas is like loneliness, like what you said, like not belonging, abandoned, don't fit in. And whatever like comes up, if I go with my attention, like first I'm in this state of I have to run away, I have to go somewhere. But if I say, okay, we're just going to take 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, the timer, 15 minutes, Peggy, 15 minutes, or with my client, 15 minutes, we just look into, we don't do anything with it. We just allow it to be there. So instead of running away from the storm and running faster and trying anything, we are actually like allowing us to be there and even moving in the direction of the storm. So like sitting there and allowing this pain or whatever it is, like to be there, to be felt, feeling where it is in the body. If it's a toothache, it's pretty easy. And allowing it even to expand. Like sometimes it's expanding, and then it's like, okay, it's not scary, it's not getting worse. But just by moving the energy there, it's healing. I sometimes feel like I can do that, or with somebody who has like gastritis and stomach pain, like chronically, I move them in this direction, and then the energy of them sinks down. It's like there's a rooting and there's this calmness. Like that's a technique I really like. Just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, it's part of. So I want to kind of speak to something that you said. One, I want to speak to that, but also going back to the people that have tried everything and that they didn't heal, especially with gut issues, because I have a personal story I want to share around that. But what you're doing is a part of. So again, what the big message of my healing journey is loving ourselves is literally the key and the path to well-being and joy. And that loving ourselves is way more than what we've been taught it is. As a matter of fact, what I learned is what most of us are talking about and learning about loving ourselves is actually bullshit. And it's much deeper than that and much wider than that. And one of the things you're talking about with that, with what you're doing with that, with when you have a pain, is accepting it and not trying to reject it or push it away. And that is rejecting and pushing away is not loving ourselves. Again, because this is an experience that I'm having. And what you're saying is that there's a part of me that doesn't belong here. And what I learned when I had my near-death experience is really what love, if you could, which is really impossible to do, to bring it into one word. But if the word that encompasses it the most is belonging. So does all of myself belong to me, even this experience? And when you make this experience belong to yourself and you accept things, this is the paradox of the universe. What you accept, you give permission to change and release. And what you do not accept, you do not give permission to change or release. So it must stay and it must get bigger usually. But when you accept something and you're accepting yourself, so one thing I do a lot when I have a pain is, one, I accept it, just what you said. And then again, knowing that all pain, my body is not betraying me in any way. My body only ever loves me and is trying to love me. And it's usually trying to send me a message, especially through pain. Pain means pay attention inward now. And so
Wow.
one of the things that one of the things that I do with pain is I breathe into it and then I ask it, knowing that my body is a wisdom all on its own and it is my best friend here on this planet. I breathe into it and I ask this part of my body that is hurting, what is it that you would like me to give my attention to? What are you trying to get my attention to? And what is it you want from me in order to soothe and release this? And I've never done this and not had some awareness come through. When I've taken some deep breaths and asked that, there's some awareness that comes through. So I want to share with you a little bit, because you were talking about gut issues, like using a personal example. Many years, about 6 or 7 years ago, I was having a lot of gut issues. And at first I thought it was, I was having another parasite, because it was very similar to when I first had my near-death experience and there was a parasite in my stomach. It was very similar to that. And so I did all the type of things that I know to clear parasites out of the gut. You know, I did detoxes, I did herbal stuff, I did, you know, all of this stuff that I knew how to do, and it wasn't getting better. Mm-hmm. And so I finally was like, I need to go to a doctor and see what this is, because I've done everything that I know how to do and it wasn't getting better. And so I had a colonoscopy. They gave me a colonoscopy to see. And when I got the results, he was like, you don't have a parasite, but you do have ulcerative colitis. Mm-hmm. And I was immediately, when he said that, you know, I knew there was a message that my body was sending me here. And so I went home. You know, he was saying this is incurable, but here's some medicines to help you kind of suppress the symptoms. And the medicines were not helping one bit, not one iota. And I am not anti-medicine by any means, but it was not helping me 1 second. Like, it was not even giving me any relief, not even like 1% relief. And so I asked my body, I tuned in, and I put my hand over my stomach and I breathed. And first I thanked my stomach for getting my awareness to whatever this was that needed to be changed in me, because obviously I wasn't listening before. And then I asked my body again, what is this pain? What is it trying? What is the message? Not what is it trying to teach me, but what is it trying to get my attention to? And what is it trying to ask me to change? And again, I did a different diet. I tried all those things. And while they gave me very slight relief, they did not heal it. And when I finally had exasperated all of that and I asked my body, the message that came through for me was to slow down my life. And I was going too fast. I was stressing myself out, and I was living at a pace that I couldn't stomach. And that I really needed to live a pace that was more authentic to who I am, because I was trying to keep up with other people. Yeah. And keep up with what, you know, working really hard, trying to keep up with, you know, other people that I thought who were also teaching healing and spirituality and well-being. And they were doing this, and this, and I'm not doing anywhere near that much, and I need to keep up. And what that was doing was stressing my system out, because that was not my authentic pace of the way I was supposed to move through the world, that Jerome was supposed to move through the world. And when I began to do the work of de-stressing my life and beginning to understand what's the pace that makes me feel good, that makes me feel at home in myself and at peace in myself and at ease in my being. When I began to slow the pace of my life down, that's when my stomach healed itself. And so it wasn't the diet. And trust me, like, this is something I talk about with, you know, on my YouTube channel, and I talk to clients about, I do my workshops. I talk about this all the time. I have tried every diet there is. I've tried all the detoxes. I have done them. I am not an anti-detox person or anything like that. I think you have to find what works for you. But I know that what healing actually is, what wellness, well, let me say this, what wellness actually is not about Wellness is not I'm eating these things and I'm drinking these things. Wellness equals wholeness. Are you in your wholeness? Do you have your entire whole energy inside of you? And are you connected to the truth of your wholeness in your consciousness, right? What was fueling the stress was me believing I wasn't enough, by the way, right? I wasn't enough as I am. I'm not doing enough. So when I connected to my wholeness, which is I am enough right now, and I'm doing enough in the world, and then I connected to the wholeness of the pace that is naturally suits my energy and nourishes my energy to move through the world in. And I began to slow down and put relaxation and rest as priorities in my world. My body healed. And so without me having to change a diet, without me having to take even more medicine, it healed on its own. And because when your wholeness is in your body, wellness is there too. This getting a little bit more going into the more esoteric and spiritual aspects of things again, because that was what my journey was about. But what I learned is your body was created by your soul to house the energy of itself. And so if there's any part of your body, if there's any part of you that's not really embodying the truth and the fullness of you, you are literally depleting your body of the energy that it was made for to be well. So it needs your wholeness inside of it to be healthy and to be well. If there's anything that's repressed, if there's anything that's suppressed, if there's anything that's stressed, you're not in your wholeness, and your body cannot stay well in that place. And so you've got to bring your wholeness into your body just with, eat healthier, drink healthier, all those things. But the real well-being, the real wellness comes when you do the wholeness work.
I agreed. I just got this insight while you were talking about like my teeth. Because I was like, why is this? This is like a subject from my life, like the teeth. I got the teeth from my father, but this is just an excuse. My mother has like perfect teeth and my father's the opposite. Like when he was 40, he already had root canals and everything. And apparently that's my thing as well. And while you were talking, I was like, wow, this has to do with rooting, rooting, like roots, root canal, roots. So one thing I just wanted to share for bringing in a little bit personal thing for me as well is like I started my business like 2.5 years ago, and I felt like throughout this, and I was a lot into, get it done, do it. And this is also, I think, like this is a way to start a business, honestly. Like this is what I heard from everybody who's like, if you're just starting out, you're working and you're putting in and you don't see anything in the beginning, but then it starts to grow if the roots are good, if the base is good. So I did all of that, started the YouTube channel, built the business. But I noticed like the more I did this, the more my energy went down and the teeth got worse. So like one of the things that you shared with on your channel before was this thing with the 4 soul vitamins. I love that. There's also the word with vitamins in there. I just came until the first 3 vitamins, but the first one was like my vitamin that was missing, and that was belonging, like the feeling of, I've created this beautiful community with gut feelers, and I feel like so much belonging there, but it's a different feeling if like somebody hugs you or you have like like right now I feel like the first time is that I took like really action in taking care of that part, and that is also part of my business. It's not just part of my business to produce videos and to answer questions and to do one-on-one consulting and write ebooks. Business part is also to make sure like I'm expanding like the spiritual part of me and the Peggy vulnerable part and the Peggy who needs hug part and all of that. And then the other part is growing. I can feel it. Like, so one of the things that I said to me, what I'm doing is that first I'm going to move into a community, and then I'm going to do more things that we do right now. I'm going to follow my joy, and I'm going to talk to people that I actually love to talk about. And I'm sure gut feelers get something out of that. And I'm going to bring everything. I'm going to bring like everything out. That's also something
Yeah.
you shared. Like, instead of, you get like this part of me, and this part is a little bit like, no, you get it all. You get the goofiness from me, the saying strange words and not perfect
Hmm.
English, whatever. Just bring it all out. And the
Yeah.
people will love you. they just do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's safe. I literally was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. Well, not the other day. I mean, an hour ago. um, one of the, and I'm tuning into it so I can make sure I give it the voice that it wants. What I discovered is one of our biggest fears, and this is humanity, period. This is all of us, wherever we are, no matter what our color, our gender, our sexual expression, no matter what, no matter our economic status, whatever it is, the biggest fear that we have, that is the root cause of most of our suffering and causes a lot of suppression and bad decisions and a lot of pain, is the fear that I cannot live my truth. And what I mean by living your truth is all of it. Like, not just your sexuality, but your personality, but also your emotionality, like how I'm feeling in any moment, what I really want to say, what I believe in, what I don't believe in, speaking up for myself, like all of that is part of living your truth. So the fear is I can't live my truth and be loved and be safe at the same time. I can't live my whole truth and be loved and be safe at the same time. And what the biggest healing thing that happens, and this is something that has happened for me really in these past few years, and I'm even going deeper and deeper. I was literally sharing something with a friend today about how much deeper I'm experiencing this knowledge in my life now. But the truth of your being is you absolutely can and you will. And as a matter of fact, the only way you will ever really be safe, and the only way you will ever really be loved in life and feel love in your life, is to fully and wholly live your truth with nothing edited, nothing suppressed, nothing repressed, and nothing, rejected. Like, it's all just what you said. It's all embodied and it's all brought to the light. And when you do that, what you find is, again, love, meaning, this is something about love, by the way. Love, it wants really only two things for you. And that is for you to be fully happy and for you to be fully well. Like, when we really love someone, that's really the two things we want for them more than, that's the top, and everything kind of falls up under those umbrellas. We want them to be happy, and we want them to be, we want them to be well, and all of what well means. And so because the universe loves you, it wants you to be happy, and it wants you to be well. And when you bring yourself to the table, you bring your full self to the table, what ends up happening is everything that makes you happy and everything that supports your wellness begins to flood in. But the first step has to be, you have to bring your whole truth to the table and heal everything within you that's keeping you from doing so. And again, this is not something that just I had mastered, because I grew up with the messages that my whole truth was not safe and that my whole truth wasn't enough. Yes. And so I wasn't going to be loved for my whole truth, and I wasn't going to be safe for my whole truth. So I always hid parts of my truth. I suppressed them. I hid them. I rejected them. And that was making me sick. Because again, my body, by the way, was created by my soul to house the truth of myself, the whole truth of my being. And so if there's any part of me that is not embodying the truth of my being, I am literally withholding a part of my body from the wellness that it needs. Yeah. And so part of my healing journey was learning how to bring all the truth of myself out, right? Not just, and again, it wasn't just about, I'm attracted to the same gender, or I'm an intuitive and I have, intuitive, or what some people will call psychic gifts, or, those type of things. It was also being honest about how I feel, speaking up about what's not okay with me. It was also about allowing myself to feel things, what I'm feeling, and not, because this is something in the spiritual world they do a lot. It's like, there are some acceptable feelings and there are some not acceptable feelings. And that's the message you get, right? So you can be happy You can be high vibrational, but you better not be angry and sad, right? Because that's not really spiritual. And what I learned is what that's doing is it's making you not love yourself. You're not embracing and accepting your whole being, and you're not in your wholeness. Now, I don't want to stay sad and I don't want to stay angry, because those things, again, my internal world creates my external world. So if I'm feeling sad and angry for a long time, I'm going to manifest a world that reflects and supports sadness and anger. So I want a different type of reality for myself. But how you move through those feelings and you release them so that you're free to feel higher vibrational feelings is you feel them, is that you don't fight them, you don't reject them. And so that they can pass through you. One, they can pass through you, and two, they can give you the message they have for you. Because feelings, again, everything is for you, everything is serving you. And so a feeling actually comes up, it has a message. It has the good feeling ones and the bad feeling ones. The good feeling ones are, we're going in the right direction, more of this, please, this is who you are, this nourishes you. The bad feeling ones usually are, there's a boundary that needs to be set. There's something that's important to you that you're not giving enough attention to. You're headed in the direction that's not really you, and we need to turn around. There's a lot of stuff. We lost something and we just need to grieve it for a second. It's all messages. Feelings have a message, but if you're rejecting them, if you're saying, I shouldn't feel that because that's not spiritual, or I shouldn't do that, or this is not what a good boy does or a good girl does, you suppress them in your being, you block your energy fields, you reject yourself, and you don't get the wisdom from that. You are literally hurting yourself a lot by not accepting how you feel and expressing it. But again, that's your truth, right? So you can be all of these things. You can be a person that feels how they feel, who says what they mean, who expresses their sexuality, whatever that sexuality is, who expresses their personality, however quirky or weird or out of the norm or in the norm that personality is. You can express all of that and be loved and receive belonging and be safe in the world. You can. And not only can you, but that's how this world was set up for you. It was set up so that you could express your truth in this world, and you would be safe and loved in this world, and your truth would expand out, and it would be of service not only to you, but to others. But that's the big fear that we have. And because, we have that fear because somehow in our childhood somewhere, we lived our truth some type of way and we got rejected for it. We got punished for it, or we got abandoned for it in some type of way. And by people, not because that's what we deserve, but by people who did not know, they were projecting their issues with their own truth onto us. And because we didn't know all about that as kids, we perceived it as there's something wrong with me and my truth, instead of that person is projecting onto me their insecurities. I'm triggering an insecurity in them. I'm okay. They're the ones that's not okay right now. We don't know how to process that. So we take it as there's something wrong with my truth. It's not safe and I'm not safe to do it. And the healing part is to really bring your truth fully into your body and fully into your consciousness and fully into this expression in the world. And that's when you start to experience real well-being and joy.
I remember, like, for me, like first of all, I think you're right, of course. Like, yeah, I can nod to everything about what you said. I feel like for me, I just have this beautiful animal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and there's a lot of animals around, big, small. Also some beautiful cockroaches. Like, when I had the last interview, there was one just climbing up. I was like, hi. Beautiful, they are big. So what I wanted to share with you is like, before I was scared of angry people. Angry people. Then, of course, when I moved to this community, the Findhorn Foundation in Scotland, which is they had a lot of heart energy, very loving, very open. You don't have to believe anything specific. It's not Christian, it's not Buddhism. You can bring your whole self and you actually experience how to be yourself and be loved with it, okay with it. But of course, then an angry person showed up, which was like in my close working environment. And from being like scared to evolving to being curious about it, which is like 100 degree the other direction, that was like a process. So for me, like being there's so much in that, but for me, for being like myself and accepting people and getting curious about diversity. So right now, for example, I have so many different people that are so different from me that I feel like, wow, I'm fascinated by or I'm interested in. But this is also because I can accept diversity in myself. I can accept like my anger or my not being honest or being lazy or whatever we want to label it. But that's a journey. So for me, when I went to Findhorn, which is like 8 years ago or so, I was like so scared. So like I feel like this journey is really like, you gotta make this first step. It's like super scary to be myself. Like even if it's just showing you this tiny bit of myself, but it's like scary and there's nobody who can help you with. You gotta do like the one scary step, and then you feel, oh, it's safe. And then another super scary step, and oh, it's safe. And suddenly it becomes like an adventure. Oh, where's the scary things? I'm ready. Come on, bring it on. So that's just something I wanted to share, like that it's not, you do this thing and then it's done, or we're just going to go for it. It's super scary. It's for everybody. It's scary because I got also this message when I was young or when I was tiny. Basically, my energy was completely, wow, the world. I loved people. I wanted to hug everybody. But unfortunately, I also saw so many shadow sides of the other people. So I was just speaking to them and I was like triggering them all the time without noticing. And they got angry and it was like, why? Because they didn't know, they didn't accept that part in themselves. So I was completely confused by the world. I was like, why? Nobody. And then my energy was drawing inside. I was playing a nice girl, still like friendly, but I was dead inside. I was like just phase. And then through moving out, like it took so long. It took so many years but every year, of course, was interesting. But to move out of this kind of inner prison of, is it safe? Is it safe? Is it safe? And you do it again and again and again. And soon, at some point, it becomes like an adventure. But it takes like so much courage that I feel like nobody can give you. It's just, you gotta bring it on. If it's that needs to be a priority in my life, that growing and becoming more of myself and bringing that out. Because as you shared, like it's not just you serve the world. It's like when I withhold my energy and who I really am, I actually deprive the world of my potential. I deprive the world of being of real service. I'm just taking it, and the world notice. So
one, it's a few things. It's just so beautiful. One, you can't be, and so this is something that made me decide to really live a life based on my truth, like only my truth and nothing but my truth. So there are a few things I want to say about that. One, because my journey showed me that not living my truth is what caused illness and caused sadness, and it caused me to live a life of bondage, that felt like bondage. You can't have a life that feels like liberation and freedom, and you can't live a life that feels like joy, and you cannot be fully healthy if you're not living your truth. Because those things, your truth is literally the root foundation of those things. And so if that foundation is there, those houses of wellness and liberation and joy cannot even be built. And so when I knew that, and I knew that not living my truth is what made me sick, and I don't want to be sick again, then that was what made me do the scary things. Because let's be honest here, I don't want to leave you guys by any means by making it sound like living your truth in the world and starting to live your truth is this carefree, fancy-free, easy, glitter and rainbows thing, because it's not. It's gritty. It is scary at times, and it can fuck shit up because it's going to ask you to sometimes literally let go. You may have to let go of everything you know. to live your truth, because especially if everything you know was built on not being your truth, because that's not your life. So you have to let go of everything that's not your life to live your real life. And that's not an easy thing to do in the beginning. And there are a few things I want to talk to you about why that's not easy. One, it's not easy because, remember, to the part of you, the scared inner part of you, living your truth means death. So it's literally going to feel like trying to live your truth is dying. And you are going, or losing everything. And you have to come to this very decision right here. And this is the decision that will change everything. You have to be willing to lose everything if it means gaining all of yourself. And that was the decision I had to come to. Was I willing to lose everything? Was I willing to lose relationships? Was I willing to lose clients and money? Was I willing to lose, adoration and my public image, if it meant that I would be fully myself and I would finally be free? And I got to the point where I knew that what was worth it to me more than anything else was freedom and wellness. And what wasn't worth it to me anymore was bondage for the sake of keeping these other things intact. And so I was willing to lose everything. Now, I didn't have to lose everything, but I did have to lose some things. And that's another thing. Like, I'm very honest with people I work with clients I work with around who are coming into their truth and doing their own healing work and things like that. You're going to have to lose something to gain all of yourself. What you will gain will be way more than what you'll lose, and it will be so worth it. But you'll have to lose something. It may be a relationship. It may be a job. It may be your public image. It may be a perception of you. It may be something. But you're going to have to lose something in order to gain all of yourself. Your soul is going to require that of you. And that's not going to be an easy experience. For instance, I just had to let go of two of my oldest and longest and friends, because I knew that the life that I was being called to now, if I was really going to fully be healed and have all of my wholeness and live a life of real well-being that deeply nourished me and deeply was delicious to me, that these two relationships did not fit in that vision. They served me before. I deeply loved them. There was no negative experience between us. We had been friends for a long time, but also for a long time, I had been getting the inner calling that I needed to complete our relationship and wasn't doing it, right? And I finally said, I'm willing to lose this, because to me, if I lost them, I had lost everything. They were my two closest friends. I didn't have many more friends than that. And so, this idea of losing them, completing the relationship and releasing them was a loss of everything. But I knew that my soul was very clear with me. My inner wisdom was very clear. If I want to gain all of myself, I'm going to have to let go of these two friends. And so it wasn't easy. It wasn't like I was just like, oh, okay, got it, let's go. It took me, a while to come to that, to really to say, okay, get the courage to do that. And then also there was a grieving. There was a grieving once we completed the relationship, and I did it very lovingly and with as much compassion as I could. And it was there was no hard feelings or anything like that. It was fully love, but I grieved, and I'm still grieving a bit for this loss. And it wasn't easy. It was not easy, but it was necessary. And that's the thing I really like to tell people is like, I don't accept the excuse that, because something is hard anymore, like, but that's really hard or that's not easy. The question is it necessary? You can do anything that is necessary for your well-being and your freedom and your expansion and your wellness and your joy. You can do anything that is necessary for that if it leads you to that. If it doesn't, I get it. Like, that's a whole nother conversation. But these things, living your truth is necessary. It is necessary if you want well-being and joy. You cannot live a life without it. You can't delicious life without it. And you can do whatever that takes. But I don't want you to think by any means that that's going to be easy.
Totally. Agreed. Oh, Jerome, I think we are over an hour already. Of course, like I have more questions. I want to do it again. Of course, I also want to honor your time. Because you said you have an hour, so we are at an hour. Yeah, I don't know where to start apart from like thanking you that you were like with us today and sharing like so freely and openly doing the meditation. I hope I'm going to see you again and do that again. I'm sure the guys will love you, and I hope guys, if you're not yet subscribed to Jerome's channel, make sure you do, because I honestly don't understand why you don't have like 40 million people having on your channel, because so like your message is so powerful and clean, and it's so easy, you know, like one of my favorite videos, guys, that you definitely want to watch is the 4 soul vitamins. I'm going to link that video down below in the description box. Click on that, and then you can click on the subscription bell, the notification bell afterwards. That would be awesome. You see my words are going. Jerome, thank you so much. I hope I'm going to see you again, and I wish you a beautiful Saturday.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. I had just a fun and blessed time, and I hope something that was shared here, however it was shared here, is of service to you and your community, just because this time has been of service to me. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
Much love. Bye.
Bye.